So welcome. Now I'm gonna just teach you and types and scope of it. So Article 32 in your fundamental rights gives you uh, the Supreme Court writ jurisdiction. Okay, and if I had to tell you about fundamental rights, they can't get violated, and if they get violated, then you can go in 32 and 226. These two are the writ jurisdiction of Supreme Court and High Court. 226 and 32. If your fundamental right get violated, then you can go to either of these, but I would say go on more of like Supreme Court, but High Court have more power in the writ section. I would teach you ahead that. Then a declaration of fundamental right in the Constitution is meaningless unless the verse worthless without providing efficiently machinery for their enforcement if they are violated. Hence, Article 32, the right to remedies for the enforcement of the fundamental right of and aggrieved citizen. Aggrieved mean look dukhi. Aggrieved. Aggrieved basically mean like dukhi citizen. Dukhi. In other word, the right to get to fundamental right protection is itself a fundamental right. So, like fundamental right, if you have to it is written in the Constitution that you would get the fundamental right. It itself written in the Constitution, so nobody can change this thing. That's why it is one of the most important law. Now, fundamental right, if I have to tell you according to Article 32 what else it is called. First, it is called the most important article of Constitution. Next, it is called an article without which Constitution would be nullity. Because, like, if you are not protecting your civilians' fundamental rights, their basic needs, their basic human psychological, like, how would they, would be like happy in this country, then it is waste. And next, soul and heart of the Constitution, very basic one. Soul and heart of the Constitution and important. It comes in many examination. And now this is important. It is called sine qua non. Qua non. Sine qua non is a Latin word that means absolute certainty, essential. So Article 32 is an sine qua non. Now, Article 32 cannot be taken, shortened, edited, or nothing can be done. Done here, no amendments. So you know how like there is amendments in Article 368, and various laws get shortened or lengthier, but Article 32 can't be edited, can't be shortened, can't be amended. So nothing can be done on here. This is fixed, and this is written all in the Constitution. And even the Constitution, nobody can change it, because without this, the Constitution would be nullity, right? Next is Article 32 clauses. First clause is the right to move to Supreme Court appropriate proceeding for the enforcement of fundamental right. So right to move to Supreme Court, this is your fundamental right as of Article 32 Clause 1. Second is the Supreme Court and High Court can issue writs. It is written in 32 of 2. And from 2 of 2, I remember 1 of 1, which is 1 of 1 guy who doesn't comes in the your council for 60 days, and he is not considered a member after that. Then 1 of 2, I remember this. I will teach you this. This as of like 1 of 2 is like on your anti-deflation law, how one person can be removed from the council. And now 32 of 2 is the writs. Here writs are your of 5 types. I will teach you that ahead. Now third is your the parliament can empower the court to issue direction of writ. However, this cannot be done without parliament can without proceeding to above powers of investment. So parliament can empower mean like they can boost some other local courts or states court to issue writ, but their power can't be exceeding of the Supreme Court power. That is third. Fourth is your right to move to Supreme Court shall not be suspended except as otherwise provided in the Constitution. Provides the president can suspend the right to move to any court for the enforcement of fundamental right during national emergency. Article 39, 359. Sorry. Uh, Supreme Court is known as defender and guarantor of the fundamental right of the citizen. So, right to move to Supreme Court, this thing copies here, but this can be suspended if there is a national emergency. And I taught you national emergency and every emergency uh, here. No, I taught them there only, revision only. Here, national emergency, president rule, and financial emergency. If you want to say this, then go back in my older videos. So suspended. So right to move to Supreme Court can be suspended on national emergency, Article 352, and this is on like war, your armed rebellion, and your external aggression. And your armed rebellion came out after your 44th amendment or something. Which amendment was that? It was 44 Constitution Amendment of 1978. Okay, suspended. This can be suspended, and fundamental right during the emergency under Article 359. So this thing can be suspended article under 359. And under Article 359, it is also said that Article 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. These are the only two rights. Now, the second 32 of 2, this one. So 32 of 2 have five writs. First is habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is a writ in which the main thing that they usually ask is to have the body of. This is habeas corpus. In this, you can assume as like if I have to teach you simply, you could take two people. This guy kidnapped him. So he goes to the court and all that, and the police, and he says that he kidnapped me. And if the police find out that this guy kidnapped him on an unlawful activity, then he would be sent to your courts, and habeas corpus would be issued on him. So that is the simplest way you could understand this, and it can be issued against your both public and private authority, because it doesn't matter if it is a government or a civil authority. If you got kidnapped or anything happened to you, so that is basically the habeas corpus. And this writ cannot be issued against if the detention is unlawful. So if his activity was not unlawful, um, then he would be free, and it you can't issue a writ on him. Then when the proceeding is for contempt of court or legislature. So contempt of court, first of all, it is not written in the constitution. Second of all, like you can't issue a writ on, like if you are contempt, if you are doing contempt of the court, you can't issue a writ on that. The habeas corpus is that to have the body of, it is not related to this thing. Writ is only issued when your right is getting violated. And this thing is on, you could say, article 23 or article 24 covers it, right against exploitation. Then the second writ is your mandamus. Mandamus, this one is that we command. In this, we command to you to do your duty. This is the whole thing in the mandamus. And in this, you could only command the public authority and public body, and like public authority, public body, and a corporation, a corporation, only if they are working under some public stuff. Then inferior court like tribunals, like I can command them if they are not doing something for me, then I can command them to do their duty. Then you can do on government basically, but you can't issue this against your private body, because this whole thing is in public. Because can only command to do duty on the public bodies, because from public you are also paying tax and they are running on your tax. That's why you can issue them, ask them to do their duty. So you can't do that against private body, because they don't run on your money. And department instruction who are not possessed by public body. So a corporation here should be on public duty. They should be doing some public stuff. If they are not doing any public stuff, a corporation, then they would not be considered under this mandamus. Then if then the duty is discriminatory, not mandatory, to enforce a contract of obligation, if like on the civil side. Then president plus governor is not under mandamus. Chief justice of higher court acting in the judicial capacity. So your president and governor are not under this mandamus, because you can't just go to the president and say that you should do your duty. Then it is prohibition. Prohibition is to forbid, is that the Supreme Court forbids the High Court in issuing of writs, even though High Court writ jurisdiction is bigger, because High Court can issue writs and on some normal cases too. And this can be uh, issued against Parliament, state legislative, panchayat, and municipality. Next is your certiorari. certiorari is to inform, like to be certified. In this, the main thing is that supreme so your high court issued writ and his statement, but supreme court comes ahead, and they do what is they quash. The quash is the main word here. They quash their whole order. And yeah, that is what statutory is. Then q warranto is like, by what authority are you doing or like arresting me? So they you usually ask the arrest warrant from the officer. So that is what it is, by what authority. So you can only ask this to your public body, obviously, like the police, and not a civil body. And yeah, that's this thing completely. After this, I will be teaching you the making of the constitution whole history.